Welcome to the Snobs podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another absurd episode of the Snobs podcast. It's Christmas time. I don't know if you think I know or not, but I do. Because I'm wearing a Santa hat and lights for the people who are listening. Those are just for you. That's right, everybody. I'm Mick Manhattan from the Snobs, and we are back again with another episode 306. That's right, 306 episodes of this show. And I might be going a little crazy at this point. No, I am enjoying every bit of it, and we do have a great co-host. I can't even call him a guest anymore. He works for the producer. So we have producer Paul here, but before I bring him in, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit. We got I think 2 more episodes of the Snobs podcast till the end of the year. We're going to be doing our Christmas episode next week. We might have 3 because I might have a special interview with an old friend of mine who works in the film industry. And if I can make that happen with her, I'm really looking forward to it. And then I think we're going to do a crossover event, which we will have more information about going down the line. It's going to be a crossover with Sir Sturdy, and we're going to have a really fun thing for the end of the year. It's a New Year special plan. So once we have those ironed out, I will definitely announce it. But if you guys don't know, we got still other shows going on as well. Does It Suck is still going. This week, we're going to be talking about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and then that's every Saturday, so go check that out. Mick at Night is all new this week. We're going to be doing our Christmas special this week because next week we're off. We're not doing Mick at Night. We have a very special charity script read of Casters for a Cause does National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I love this movie, and I'm so happy to be in it with everybody, all my friends and stuff for the Christmas season, and just try and raise money for All for Lunch, which is a great charity helping out school kids who have school lunch debt and things like that. So all across this country. So hopefully it'll help us out. Thank you to our 2 donors already. We're up $50. Our goal is $400. So please, if you want to donate, links down below. I will put them in the links over in the comments as well. So if you're watching live, but you can find it anywhere. It's on our link tree in the whole 9 yards. So hopefully you guys will check that out. Thank you guys again for joining in. I just want to cover the gamut a little bit. With these last few episodes, we're kind of going out and looking into the new year, 2024, our 5th year, by making a little bit of changes, but going backwards a little. We've lost our absurdity in these past few months, and I feel like they need to be found. So we're going to be coming back bigger and stronger in 2024. Well, I'll say we're going to come back stronger in 2024. Bigger, maybe not so much. We're going to be doing a lot of things where we're directing everybody to our we have our Discord and things like that. We're going to be getting more so off of social media and all of the content everywhere. We want to direct and build a community, direct everybody to come over and build a community within our Discord, which has a lot of channels. Now, Scene Snobs, if it's anything, it's always been my mission to kind of collect a community of the outcasts, the geeks, the bullied, the losers, the weak, the everything in between, all that stuff I always felt I was, and all that stuff that a lot of people out there feel. People who want to just have a nice base of like-minded people who not just love movies, not just love TV shows or the geek fandoms and things like that, but positivity and being cool with each other. It doesn't matter how you vote. It doesn't matter how you think unless it's hateful. We don't want hate. We don't want trolls. We don't want any of that. So we're going to be focusing more on moving it towards, more of a personal community space. So rather than, hey, if you go check on TikTok this week, you can go do this and see a video here and there's content, or go check our YouTube. We'll have our YouTube going strong with all of our shows. That's our channel, our main focus. That's where we'll be broadcasting from. And then we're going to be doing it mostly live to our Discord and to our Patreon. So guys, join up on the free Discord, join up on the free Patreon. If you want to join up with the tiers, great. We love the support, helps us build out the shows and so much more. And it keeps us going. So thank you so much for that. But I did want to make those announcements so you guys know that in the new year, we are absolutely dedicated to absurdity. We're going to get crazier. We're going to get wilder. And there may be a few new things. One thing I do want to point out, I'm putting up a challenge in 2024. I'm putting up for our YouTube channel. Anyone can do it as long as you agree to the terms. Now, I'm not going to give away the terms right now, but we're going to call it the Awkward Questions Challenge. You step in. You have at least 5 questions. maybe 10. That's part of it. Like I said, I'm not explaining it right now, so you're gonna have to bear with me and come back for this and stay tuned because it's gonna be fun. Now, you know what? I'm just gonna save it. I was gonna explain a little bit more, but I'm gonna save it. The awkward question challenge. It's open to anyone who wants to be on. We will record and it will go up on our YouTube. It is not going to be anything salacious. It's not going to be anything embarrassing. It's not going to be anything crazy where it could get you in trouble at home or with your work or with your family. That is not what we're about. It is just called an awkward challenge question because they are awkward questions and we want to know how you would answer them. Sometimes they can get a little risque. Sometimes they can get a little wacky. Always absurd. Hopefully you'll take the challenge. It'll be a lot of fun. There will be stuff to win. And without further ado, let's just start the podcast. We're going to be talking about we're continuing our Geek Gift talk. I have some links I want to share with you, stuff that you can get for Christmas, maybe some last minute stuff. Go check it out and some ideas for you. We're also going to be getting into it with Paul a bit. I also have reviews for Flowers of the Killer Moon, The Killers of the Flower Moon, my apologies, the new Martin Scorsese film, and Candy Cane Lane, the new Eddie Murphy film. And I have a new mix movie pick from the year 1974. So let's get started. Let's bring producer Paul in, who's been sitting in the back taking care of business. Paul, what's going on, bud?
Not a lot. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's been kind of a crazy, busy day. How you doing?
It's been busy as well. Just worked both jobs, just got off, just got to you. So no
Very
complaints
cool.
just yet.
And you're back to work again tonight. Am I right?
So actually, big announcement for everyone. I'm signing a contract on Friday, so I'm actually able to get rid of those two jobs I've been bouncing back and forth through because this one pays a lot more than both of those together. So
will it allow you some more free time?
a lot of free time because I'll only be working like 1 a.m. to 10 a.m. 5 days a week. So
Not bad.
so
Not
much free
bad.
time. It's perfect.
I love it. I love it. So, man, that is awesome. And now that's just has to be signed, right?
Yep. I just fill out the paperwork on Friday. That's it.
Well, then I'm not going to say it yet.
Uh-oh.
But just know that I'm thinking it. But I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say it. Because in the Irish culture, that means something.
Copy that.
So, oh my God. Okay, actually, I wouldn't mind talking. So it's Hanukkah right now. The last night of Hanukkah is on Thursday. I grew up Irish Catholic from Jersey, of all places. So, especially North Jersey, which is an even angrier part of the state. So, my point here is my sister finally did one of those DNA test things or whatever. And I found out what I am. And I found out that I'm 5% Jewish. And I have to say, it has intrigued me quite a bit. I want to learn maybe not more about the faith because I'm not into religion as much, but I kind of want to learn the history more and more. I never really thought about it. I know the surface, but I want to get in depth. So has anything like that ever happened to you?
Honest, I'm gonna say not really. I've been petrified to ever take a 23andMe. I assume, like, since I was adopted from Honduras, I've always assumed I'm just 100% Honduran, but I could be a mix of, I could be Jewish for all I know. I doubt it, but it's a possibility.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, you could be. That's the thing. Like, because I never knew. Like, I always thought just Irish. That's what I was always told. And then she did the oh no, I'm sorry. I always told a lot of Irish and a little German. So I was like, okay, cool, like whatever. And then I let it go. And then and I agree with you on the 23andMe. I don't want to take it either because I don't need them having everything. But my sister can do it. That's fine. They can still copy me, but more so it will be her. So it's all right. Although if you look at me and you put a mustache on my sister, we're twins.
Really?
We're not actual twins. She's 2 years younger than me. But if you put a mustache on her, we're twins. So that's sort of how that works out. But I will say, it has been intriguing me a bit because I found out we're Scottish as well, from a little bit of like Swedish, Denmark, and a little English.
Okay.
No German whatsoever.
No.
And then just Jewish, like 5% Jewish. And it always intrigues me on how all that sort of works out because I remember a friend of mine was going to give her baby up for adoption.
Mhm.
And she was telling me that she has to go through all of this paperwork and such, because if she has, and sort of do the homework, because if she has any Native American of certain tribes blood,
Mhm.
she has to get the okay to put the baby up for adoption from the tribe, or the baby goes to the tribe.
Huh.
I never
That's
knew
kinda
that. That's
that's
interesting to
pretty
me.
cool. Huh.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I get that, because that's, that's, that society is very tribe based, so they would want,
Right.
their
They probably adopt
people.
the baby themselves.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how much of that slips through the cracks, that sort of thing. Like,
Mhm.
is that something that we don't see much of, in terms of, because people just don't do the work, or
Right.
but it'd be interesting to see how that kind of plays out.
That'd be a
Yeah,
good drama to watch. I'd
but
watch that movie.
thoughts. It did make me think, like, hey man, happy Hanukkah. Need to start saying
There you
that more
go.
often, for sure.
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
Sure, it's funny, because like I was like, hey, I told my son, I was like, we're Jewish, like we have a little bit of Jewish in us. That's awesome. He goes, and he doesn't understand religion, because we don't grow up in a religious household. We grow up in a faithful household, spiritual, but not religious. We don't go to church. I got my own reasons for that. I think I'm well documented in a lot for that one. But um, so when he heard that, I don't think he was anti anything, but he was like, no, 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 because like he just thought that meant like we're automatically into religion, and he wasn't sure what it was. And he's like, "You're not explaining it to me. Does that mean I have to do this, this?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. That's not how it works. No, no, no. It just means that we're part of that culture, and I want to look into it more." And he's actually been going to a school library and looking into it more.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Now,
it's been pretty interesting.
have you been able to narrow down like which side of the family, like grandfather's side, grandmother?
That's a great question. I don't know. I would have to talk to her about it, because she did the test, so
I got
they
you.
they gave her all the info. I just got the percentages. That's all she sent me. And she
Gotcha.
goes, "Guess what we are?" I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "That's awesome." So I kind of just went with it, and I was like, "All right, well, I'll check it out and see what's what." I never, like, I did more research on the actual history of the Jewish people than I did on whose side side is it on. I would
Right.
venture to guess it's my father's side.
Okay.
We don't. Here's a funny thing. We don't know if our last name on my dad's side. We don't know if our name is actually Manhattan, um, because our actual last name comes from my grandfather's father, of course, and he was a runaway. So
Oh.
we don't know. We know he's my father's been able to kind of draw families together up in the
Mhm.
area that he grew up in, and kind of do all that research. But he left. He ran away from home. I don't know why. We don't know any of the story or anything. He never told his kids or anything. He ran away from home, and then wound up playing baseball. He was a catcher.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he barnstormed. So he played in the minors for a while. I don't know if he ever went majors. I feel like I would have heard that.
I got you.
So, but I know because he caught for Babe Ruth when Babe Ruth was a pitcher in the
That's really
minor league.
awesome.
Not all the time. Not all the time. And
No,
a
no,
couple.
right, right, right. But still, like just to even meet him,
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
and that's before like Babe Ruth was like Babe Ruth. So
Right.
that's pretty cool. So like I always like finding out little stuff like that. Like if I find out anything like, oh God, your grandfather's Hitler. No, like I wouldn't want
Right.
that. Like I get it, but
That.
that one's throw the papers all around. I don't know what's going on here.
Right. Just
It
start burning everything shredder again. Just
becomes like an episode of like Smallville when Lex finds out something and he has to shred all the papers and get out of town.
yeah.
That'd be me.
Now
Just like
bring
ah.
now bringing up family like that, I don't know any of the history of it, but on my mom's side of the family, apparently her father's brother decided he wanted to be a big actor, and he ran away from family when he was I think in his 20s, but he changed his name, and I guess my grandfather never spoke about him. Um, so I have no idea if, for all I know, I have an actor in the film. Like he could have been big, he could have amounted to nothing because I have no idea because
Yeah.
he changed his name. And this was back in 1920s. So
Yeah.
it's one of those where I'm like, maybe, no, I don't know. So I
The
feel
only
that.
reason we think that the name is real
Mhm.
is because he one time, and it's funny because of the movie connection. That's why we get along so well. But
Right.
he said to my grandfather in just a conversation, I think it was actually like he had a few drinks in him, and like he was just like, and I don't know whether he said it was his uncle or his brother or something. He goes, he's an art director out in Hollywood. He does all those big movies and stuff. And I went and I found somebody with the last name back around the time who was an art director and like had a long career of art direction with the same last name. But I have no connection because we don't know anything. We would never actually know. I mean, that would just be cool to find out. But yeah, some stuff gets lost, and that's so crazy because like, did that like? You mind if I ask a question about that? Your
No. If
adoption?
I have
Like,
an answer, I'll give it to you.
no, it was more along the lines of like, did anything get lost in the shuffle when you were adopted? Maybe things that you didn't find out about from your
Yes.
family.
Quite
Okay.
a bit. So with being adopted, my mother was minor, so she was 13 when she had me. So on my
Mhm.
birth certificate, I only have my grandparents' names on there, so I don't even have her name. The only thing I have of hers is I have one singular picture of her, and I look just like her. Or yeah, which is really funny. It just looks like me with slightly longer hair. I'll send you the picture later.
Oh, that's awesome.
But unfortunately, I think they lost a lot of their documents with all the earthquakes they had in the late 90s. And from what I've been told, the adoption agency my mother used no longer exists down there. So when I tried to look for my birth family, it was kind of messy because I had to hit up the embassy and they're like, well, this agency doesn't exist. We can try to figure it out, if you have family, but it was kind of a dead end. So just because of how it worked for at least Honduras specifically, I can say that the paperwork is very, here's your birth certificate, that that's pretty much, that's it.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me to think that when dealing with children, we don't take the utmost care of their adoption. And like, I'm not talking, I'm not even talking about the basic human rights of taking care of children. I'm talking about the idea of adopted children. There's even in this country, it has to happen tons of times because you hear a lot of people talk about I was a black market baby or this, that, and like the family that adopted them had no idea.
Right.
So but the fact that adopted children in this country and all over the world, we can't even keep paperwork together.
Right.
This should be government funded everywhere. Now I understand that in some countries that's just not no go.
Right.
But like it really is like because there's no way that your story isn't similar to even someone's in this country.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's that like in so for adoption to be for adoption paperwork to be a universal terror. That's I didn't mean to get into this because I know I didn't prep you or ask you. I hope you don't mind. I didn't ask anything.
No, not at all.
that would be too much. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
We'll switch gears though because I did want to run by you. Have you seen the Golden Globe nominees yet?
I have not. This is exciting. Heck yeah. First look. Let's see.
I'm gonna run them off real quick, and then I'm gonna pick what I think should win from the past year.
Okay.
And if you want to take a pick, please throw it out there. Okay. All right. Best motion picture drama: Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, The Zone of Interest. I think Godzilla -1 or The Creator should win, and neither are nominated. So that's just me. Anything from you?
I think out of those ones you listed, I would go with Past Lives.
Yeah, I would go with Past Lives too. That is the clear, in my opinion. If you're not nominating, I love Past Lives, by the way, but I do think The Creator and Godzilla -1 are better. Past Lives is on my list. That's all I'll say about that until 2 weeks from now. But I have talked about it on the show before. Couldn't agree with you more. If those two aren't nominated, Past Lives doesn't win. again, we have bullshit in the awards.
No,
show.
absolutely. Yeah, because I know you're doing a review later of the Killers of the Flower Moon, but when I watched it, I agreed with what you were saying about it as you were watching it.
Mhm.
Yeah, art chat. Because I watched it and I knew some of the story because my dad's big on history, so a lot of Native American Indian stuff we've read, and so a lot of the story of them selling off their oil land, to the white man, and all. There's such a huge story to tell, and it was like, I'm not trying to give away a review. Never mind. But
No. But I don't mind talking about the movie too, because like
okay.
it's just my review later. But because we're talking about this and Killers of the Flower Moon is honestly, when I look at this list and I'm thinking about it from the eyes of the idiot elite who make these decisions,
Right.
I have a feeling Oppenheimer's probably going to be the big winner at the Golden Globes. I'm not talking about Oscars yet. But I have a feeling Oppenheimer's going to be the big drama winner because it's Christopher Nolan, this, that, and the other thing, and it made a lot of money. If not that, it's probably going to be Maestro.
Okay.
I don't think Killers of the Flower Moon deserves it out of all of the movies that came out last year on this list. Oppenheimer was ekes it out for me. I think it's a better movie. I haven't seen Maestro or Anatomy of a Fall yet. Past Lives is a better movie than all of them on this list, so that's above the list already.
Right.
So it's like, but I know it's not going to win because I know the Hollywood Foreign Press and their BS. So, and the Zone of Interest I haven't seen, so I would like to see those, and I probably will check them out. But I have a feeling it's going to be Oppenheimer. If not, it's probably going to be Maestro.
It has to be Oppenheimer. Like, I don't see how they're not going to choose that one.
Yeah.
And I will say it was a good movie. But out of that list that they've presented, like you said, Past Lives is worlds above it. I was blown away by the story, cinematography. I enjoyed the realness of it. Like, it wasn't a typical, like, it wasn't The Notebook. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm engaged to so and so. I'm leaving so and so. We're
Yep.
in love. It's fun. It wasn't, the BS like that. It was like, oh no, this is what two people that were fond of each other coming back to each other, what it's actually like, and then trying to figure out, still loving the old person and trying to arrange who they are now with that person. And I appreciated how much thought they really put into the character development and the
Yeah.
dialogue.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. That's well put. And I'm reserving mine now because I'm going to do my review later. But well, let's move on to musical or comedy. Best motion picture. So they have Air, American Fiction, Barbie, The Holdovers, May December, and Poor Things. I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't watched Poor Things, May December, or the Holdovers or American Fiction yet. So I've only seen two in these. I will tell you from the standpoint of what I think the Hollywood Foreign Press and that whole association is going to do, it's probably going to be Barbie. I think it's funny that two of the movies on here encapsulate the childhoods of both boys and girls.
Yeah.
Air, and if you're a boy from the 80s, 90s, that encapsulates your childhood of Michael Jordan and the shoe and all the things that surround it. If you're a girl, Barbie surrounds that, in my opinion, and well done on both. I'm not putting either of them down. I think they're both great movies. I do have a feeling that when I watch Poor Things, that's probably going to be my favorite. Because I do, at least if I haven't seen it yet, I do keep up on everything and like what is it about? Because I know I have to see it at some point, so I try to.
Exactly.
Listen, people. Sometimes I have to like methodically measure out what I'm going to watch when, because I can't watch like 4 dramas in a row and then without some sort of spice of life comedy in there or something. It will drive me utterly insane. Hey, Sturdy's here. What's going on, buddy? And guys, he has a show later tonight at live at 8. Make sure to check it out. Paul will be on. We're out here early tonight, so I'm gonna take the wife to see some Christmas lights.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, wife and kids, it'll be fun for him. So and it's be fun for me too. Like I don't want to act like
Right.
macho man or anything. I'm gonna have a great time too. I'll wear my hat and my fucking lights. But
not to backtrack, but with the Jewish thing, next year, do you think you'll be practicing might be too strong a word, but do you think you'll go over any of the Jewish traditions for what they do for December?
I will have a menorah.
Okay.
We will light the menorah because I have a menorah now because I always
Okay.
try to celebrate because I have friends who are Jewish.
Okay.
And if they come into this house, we have Christmas. It looks like Christmas threw up because we're into it. We love it. We love Christmas time and all that. So, but I'm going to have a menorah there. So when my friends come over, I will have a legit menorah for next year and we'll light it each day out of respect. It's not a faithful thing. It's out of respect. I try to do that like with all the cultures that I've learned that I'm a part of or that I've had the privilege to share in.
Okay. That's fair.
And I've had a lot of friends from different cultures and things like that, and they've taught me a lot of different things. And I love that stuff. I love experienced cultures. Maybe not an in-depth like eat all of our stuff and do all of this and you have to act like, but like learning about it and slowly getting there and trying to, well, not slowly, but like in a good way, like learn how to, respect those cultures and be a part of it. Like it's just a lot of fun for me. So if you come into my house, I try to show that.
Awesome.
Not you though. I'm not gonna do that for you.
Dang it, no Day of the Dead.
You're gonna walk in and show me Honduras shit everywhere. Dude, come on, man.
Here's some coffee beans and here's banana. They're both from Honduras.
There's more. They've done more.
Yeah, there's meat. Like, what else do you need?
It's just cardboard cutouts of you in different poses that you didn't know I stole from Facebook.
That'd be hilarious.
Why do you have all of these? It's like it's the most famous Honduras person I know. Honduran.
Yep.
I'm getting there. I'm slow to the punch, but I get there.
I'm quick to get hit, so I feel that.
There you go. All right, best motion picture animated. The Boy and the Heron. I haven't seen it yet. Elemental. I loved Elemental. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is my winner personally. The Super Mario Brothers, which is a very close second for me personally. I haven't watched Susan Me yet. My son may have because he has Crunchyroll, so I'll ask him. And Wish I haven't watched yet, and I don't know that I'm going to. Not that I'm against it or anything, but I'm a little tapped out on Disney at the moment.
I get that 100%. It's easy to get burned out on Disney.
It's a lot of Disney lately. That's all I'm going to say. And they're buying everything and pumping it all out. So I'm like, kind of like, I could take a rest. I'd be all right with that. But it is, I would say Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the best.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Here's my rant. Here's my dad rant. Ready? They added a new one. And this is the biggest bullshit of all. And if the Oscars does this, I will fucking hate him forever as much as I already do. Cinematic and box office achievement. The movies on this list, if they are nominated for any motion picture achievements, they ain't getting it because they're probably going to get it here. And here we go. Do I even have to say it? I think we all know. Barbie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. John Wick Chapter 4. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Oppenheimer. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The Super Mario Brothers. And Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Now, why did they add this? Because Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, which deserves to win it, because it was an independent film. And I'll get to my point on this for a second, because I don't want to just say it deserves to win it, and then everybody's like, well, you're an asshole. I have a point for that. This is thrown in there, so Taylor Swift can win something, because if Taylor Swift's nominated, guess who's coming to the Golden Globes? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. This is methodical. So now if they come and they win, she's up there. She's talking. This is completely 100% methodical. Not that she doesn't deserve it.
Right.
Here's my reason why. I believe that to be a cinematic and box office achievement, you have to do as much as you can with a movie with as little as you can. That is my personal feeling on it. So indie films are more of a cinematic achievement when they make a lot of money off of little. When you make a $300 million movie and it gets $1 billion, right? Hey, great. Good for you. It's entertaining. I'm not against it. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm not even saying it shouldn't win an award. All I'm saying is it's not a cinematic achievement. It's not. It just isn't. And to take this year as sort of my barometer for this, Guardians of the Galaxy was $250 million to make. It made $845 million. A lot of money, nothing to sneeze at, nothing against it. It's a very good movie. It's entertaining, great acting, great action, everything in between. It is the best Marvel movie to come out in years.
Yeah.
In years. And there's no reason it should never not just be nominated for Best Picture for as much as it made. I get that. But if you want a real, true box office achievement, Godzilla Minus One was made for less than $15 million and made $35 million in its opening weekend, garnering it to have a bigger spread and made more money the next weekend. And then it's probably going to still make money because it's doing well. The Creator looks better than Endgame. And I love Endgame. It looks better than Infinity War, and I love Infinity War. But if those are two of the pinnacles of visual effects in the movie industry, then The Creator has better visual effects.
Absolutely.
And it has an amazing story to it. It's not a hard to keep track of story like Tenet was. It's not and I say that because John David Washington starred in that too, and he was great in it. But it was a hard movie to kind of keep track of. This is an easy, you get it. You get the idea of what's going on. It's drama filled. It's wonderfully done. It's action packed, but has heart. It is wonderful. I did a review on it, so I'm selling you on it again. The fact that that movie was made for $80 million and only made like $200 million, still amazing. That's an achievement. People call it a loss. This is an indie film that was made for $80 million and made $200 million. Made less than how much it made the Marvels made. And look, that made like $70 million.
Right.
So when you talk to me about achievements and I look at this list, I'm sorry, Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan, you're a wonderful filmmaker. I will take nothing in the technical side away from you. Your stories are very good. Sometimes they're boring. Sometimes they're hard to follow. Tenet was hard to follow. And it shouldn't be that hard to follow. It shouldn't. I don't care how realistic you want to be with it. Interstellar is great, but it did get boring at times. It dips. And I'm not trying to pick those movies apart. Cinematically, they're truly visions. So the cinematic achievement here is Oppenheimer deserves, not the box office. Now, he did great, but for the amount of money it costs, for the amount of build it was and everything else, you should have made more.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but the nuclear explosion in this isn't even the best nuclear explosion this year in a movie. So Godzilla Minus One did 1,000 times better. So I'm sorry, and I know it was all practical, but really, I love the snow globe. Got to get sturdy in a snow globe. Yeah, I threw that one together.
I do wish with a lot of their nominations, though, they'd keep one movie in one category. I get you can't always do that for movies because some movies hit, but I really wish it was just one per category and it wasn't six chances for. But
each one should mean something different, though, and I think that's what I'm trying to point out to everybody. I think everybody's, because I know people are going to look at cinematic and box office achievement and be like, "What the hell?" Like, I mean, isn't that Best Picture? Essentially, it should be, but the problem is they do not give the Best Picture the award. Right. So this is their way of saying, well, you want us to give popcorn movies the award. No, I want you to give the Best Picture award to Past Lives, which is the best fucking movie in that list. but you're not going to do it because you're not above board. You don't do none of these award shows and Grammys, Academy Awards, all of them. None of them do it above board. It's all favoritism. It's like how the Democrats handle it in a situation where it's like, oh, we owe you, so we're going to just go with you rather than the best person for the job. So, and that's a true statement, you fuckers. But my point is, you can't add something like this to add more and try and make your people happy and watch when it's not real. It's not real. We want the awards to be real. We want people used to watch these award shows to see what's the best of the best. That has not been the case since long before I was even born. You know,
Right.
so it's such bullshit to me that it fills all of this, and there's so many great filmmakers who will never get a shot because they're not in the elite. And then I watch this, and this whole fucking thing is just to get Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce to the and you'll never get me to believe otherwise. I'm sorry. That's the only reason they want him there is for the Golden Globes. And she deserves to be there. She deserves to be at least nominated. I'm not saying she deserves an award. But she deserves to at least be nominated because that's a fucking achievement what she did. She went around the studios and she put it out independently. She made it herself and put it out independently and earned that money herself. That's a fucking cinematic achievement.
She did
I'm
it
sorry.
smart.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is not a cinematic achievement. It's the seventh in a long line and a great movie and a lot of fun in an action movie. But it's the seventh in a long line of movies that are very similar. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. Same with John Wick.
Absolutely.
Same with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which deserves to be nominated for a best movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a cinematic achievement. Well, actually, I would actually argue that a cinematic achievement it might be because that animation is fucking stellar.
Yeah.
But I would take Super Mario Brothers off there. But that's the thing. That's why these are all bullshit, and that's why I can't read on with these. We'll talk about them because I just don't care. Oh no, we do need to talk about one more.
Oh.
I'm so happy about this.
Okay.
It's the only thing I'm happy about. Best performance by a male in a major motion picture, musical or comedy. The greatest goddamn living actor of all time. Well, I don't know of all time. Laurence Olivier existed and Robert Redford and many.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely the best living right now. And acting, and it's fucking been that way for 40 years. Nicolas goddamn Cage in Dream Scenario. I haven't even seen the movie, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it. I want Nicolas Cage to win best actor in this in the Golden Globes. I want Nick Cage to win best actor in Academy Awards because that's the only goddamn motherfucker who deserves it. Sorry. He is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Every other person in this category, Timothée Chalamet. Great. He emphasizes. He does well.
Yeah.
I liked him in Dune. I like him in a lot of his stuff, and he does emphasize he's a great actor. I am not taking anything away from him. But he has never turned it up to 11 on every fucking performance, and everyone has been different, like Nick Cage. Matt Damon, Paul Giamatti, Joaquin Phoenix, Jeffrey Wright, all change who they are in each role. They are amazing actors. They deserve to be nominated for all of these roles. In fact, Matt Damon for Air is the only one I think should be nominated because he was the best goddamn actor in that movie, and he outshined everyone except for Viola Davis.
They weren't at 11, like you said. Nicolas Cage.
Not to take it away from Jason Bateman or Ben Affleck or anyone else. They did great. They did great. But Ben Affleck just in that movie blew it out of the water. But Nicolas goddamn Cage for a movie I haven't even seen yet deserves this award because I know what I'm going to get. Yeah. He is the only surefire thing in movies right now that I know when I watch it, when I watch a movie called Dream Scenario that looks and feels like a weighted, wonderful, dramatic, also comedic turn of a movie. And I'm going to get a great performance, just like when I go back and watch Raising Arizona or I watch Leaving Las Vegas. Or hell, if I watch Vampire's Kiss, say what you will, but his performance in that is amazing and it's one of a kind. And no other actor could do it. But I will tell you right now. I haven't seen Dream Scenario yet, but I know I'm going to get a performance that is I've never seen before from him. And that is why that man deserves the fucking awards, because he isn't the same character in Dream Scenario that he was in Unbearable, the Unbearable Weight of the Massive Talent, where he's playing himself in two different roles.
Right.
And then
Which
you
is
turn
awesome.
it around and you say, and he's nothing like that in any other role.
Mhm.
He is a different character in every role. Any role I watch Nicolas Cage in, I see somebody different. Any role that I see every other actor, like Matt Damon, if I see him in every role, it's like, wow, you really turned into that character, but you're Matt Damon.
Right.
I never say that about Nick Cage. Nick Cage, I'm just like,
Oh.
he didn't say a fucking word in Willy's Wonderland, and that's the best goddamn. They made a lot of those theme park, whatever, or Chuck E. Cheese type goes crazy movies a lot,
Mhm.
and he was there for every goddamn one, and he's the best one in him, and I love it. Yeah, I'm not even bringing up Sturdy's comments. I don't even care, because he unjustifiably hates Nicolas Cage. And as much as I love Sturdy and he's my brother, he's my mortal enemy when it comes to Nicolas Cage. There's one person, Paul, I don't even care about celebrities. Like, I love the celebrities I've interviewed and I've had the good fortune to talk to, and the filmmakers and such.
Mhm.
But I don't, like, status of celebrity doesn't really affect me.
Right.
Like, if, I don't know, name somebody, name any celebrity that you think I could get on this show.
That you could get on the show?
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard.
I wish, and I actually knew him. So, no, like, yeah, if Matthew Lillard was on the show, that would be great. I would love talking to him, because that's the thing. I love talking to people. I want to have conversations. I don't want to just be like, all right, tell me about Five Nights at Freddy. I do, because I
Right.
want to know what it was like making it. I want to know what your choices were. I want to know what it's going to feel like going forward. But I want to talk about everything. But I guarantee you, all that stuff I want to talk about is the interesting shit. Is the stuff
Right.
that these actors would want to talk about. But I will tell you, I don't even care. I don't even care if they don't want to be on, and they do want to be on. If they do, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But goddamn, I have been chasing Nick Cage to be on this show for a year. I've interviewed his directors. I've interviewed other co-stars of his. I want Nick Cage on this show, but I want him. I will not settle. I will not ask him. I will not do anything unless I can get him to agree to come on for like an hour or two, and it's
Yep.
just conversation. I don't want to know any salacious shit. I don't want to know
Right.
any of the other crazy stuff. I don't want to know about your money, your finances, your taxes, your house, anything like that. I don't want that. I want to talk about you as an actor. I want to talk about how you went into each role and
Right.
how you prepared for it. I want to know how on Renfield you channeled Bela Lugosi while giving your own performance. Like, because it's still like he's channeling Lugosi, and then it's still a separate performance. Should just be the Nick Cage podcast at this point. I love Nick Cage, and I love him in a way that's like, I'm so enthralled with his abilities as an actor.
Mhm.
And I do not understand. Like, that's the same reason I like Charles Lawton movies. The same reason I like these are actors who disappeared into roles. Same reason I love Paul, and I'll fight anybody on this. I will debate anybody on this who says otherwise. Paul Newman as an actor, fucking incredible. He got lost in his roles. Watch HUD and tell me Paul Rudd's the same in every fucking movie. You're an idiot.
He's not. He's not at all.
And not to mention just a great human being. But that was another person I would love to talk to, you know? But then we give all this praise to Marlon Brando, who gave great performances. Don't get me wrong, he was an amazing actor, but he didn't get lost in everything. He got lost in something, especially when he was younger. But for the most part, a lot of stuff, like, he wasn't great in Apocalypse Now. He was Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. He was Marlon Brando in Superman. The later parts, it was like, I'm not seeing what I saw in the early days,
Right.
where you really went all in and felt it. That's another thing to kind of talk about Killers of the Flower Moon. I'll touch down on here. That doesn't need to be in the review. Is Robert De Niro's character. Robert De Niro is a great actor, and I don't think people give him enough credit because they don't want him to be anything else than what he is.
Right.
They want him to be the street guy. They want him to be this. They want him to be that. Watch fucking Stardust and tell me he's not a great actor.
I love Stardust so much.
Dude, I'm not even asking you to like the movies that I'm talking about. I'm just saying, look at the performance and tell me with no bias, is this a great performance? Is this something different? Does it blow you away? Like or would it be the same with any other actor giving the same performance? No.
Mm-mm.
And Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, along with Lily Gladstone, who played Molly in the movie, they were the two finest actors in this movie. I love DiCaprio, but he does not shine when he plays. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. I will be getting into that in a little bit. But, so my Nick Cage praise, my Nick Cage love comes from a place of respect. I respect that man's career. I respect the performances he has given, because even in movies like Vampire's Kiss, which is out there and it's weird, and I can see why people don't like it or gravitate towards it, you can't watch him in that and say, you can't watch. Oh my God. How can you watch any Nicolas Cage movie? Watch two fucking Nicolas Cage movies from the same time period, because that man has reinvented himself every time. Now I understand that I'm getting a little abrasive here, but because I believe in what I'm saying. Watch any two Nicolas Cage movies and tell me, oh, that's just how he is.
It's not.
You can't. He's different in every movie. Watch The Weather Man and watch The Family Man. You should think those two movies should be exactly the same, and they're completely fucking different movies. Yep. Sorry, I know I'm cutting you off, but I'm very passionate about my Nick Cage.
Did you like Blue Velvet with him in it?
Blue Velvet?
I think it was Blue Velvet.
I don't think he was in Blue Velvet. Which one was that?
It was in Blue Velvet.
He was in Kyle MacLachlan and Dennis Hopper were in Blue Velvet.
Let's make sure.
I don't think Nicolas Cage was in that. I'm not 100% sure, though. If anyone wants to throw it out there, let me know. Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan was the star of that. I don't remember Nick Cage in it. That's all right. Yeah, we all do it. Except for me, because I'm the best. No, I'm not sure which one he was in, but honestly, if he was in it, yeah, I probably liked it. I probably liked it. Even like a lot of like the crappy stuff, well, said to be crappy stuff that he put out. Like, I like Jiu-Jitsu. And I know what that movie is, but I liked it because it was just wild martial arts that was not jiu-jitsu in any way, shape, or form. But Nick Cage was a lot of fun in it. He was the highlight of that movie, and he was just wild and crazy. But yeah, that's my Nick Cage love. But we didn't get to any gifts, and we're almost
at all.
So there are a couple highlights I want to show. It's just one of those. So like I'll show you some of the things that I had from, because again, if you go back and watch last week, we covered a lot of the geeky gifts, but I'm gonna do a highlights right now. Okay, let me pull it up. All right. So what do you want for Christmas, Paul, while we do this?
Ooh, I don't know. I was trying to think of new things that I wanted for Christmas from the list after last week. No, I was
well, what was the last week? Did you find something?
No, I'm just, other than the couple, like the Scream mask and a few other things I had shown you from last week. Trying to keep movie makers things in mind. I had found it's probably, well, it's up your alley as well. It's a horror guide to where you can just fill out everything. So say like, what would you rate this movie, and what was the kill count? What was the best kill? Why did you like this movie or not like this movie? But it's like a horror's guide to watching movies, and you can fill it all in. And I found that, and I was like, that's actually pretty fun, because then I can rewatch all the horrors I've already seen 1,000 times, but actually review them that way instead of only being digital reviews.
It's actually funny you mentioned a horror gift idea, because I have one for everyone, and that's buy tickets. Buy your VIP tickets.
So good with these segues.
No. I'm just throwing it out there. So right now they're doing $10 off weekend passes, early bird for a limited time. They have weekend and VIP. So like Carolina Fear Fest, we work with them and such, but this is a cool gift. And part of what I'm, saying with this, and tied into our sponsor for tonight, to segue, it's be great. Like if you know people who want to go, it's and you're near Raleigh, North Carolina, or you want to go over there. Like we have people coming from Michigan, Ohio, all over the goddamn place. I think next year Sturdy's coming from New York. So buy tickets, buy your VIP passes. Why not, right? And then let them cover the hotel. So that's one
Make
way
sure
to
to get
go.
them quick because they do sell out pretty quickly.
They
and as
yeah,
someone
actually.
And as someone that got VIP last year, I will say, you know, it's worth the snacks. It's worth extra lounge time. The swag bag is absolutely worth it because you get gifts from a bunch of the shops anyway, like little souvenirs.
I don't get anything.
I'm sorry.
They don't give me I work for the damn place. I don't get a swag bag. I see everybody walking around with swag bags. I'm like, where's my swag bag? I gotta buy a VIP pass. I do. So if you get a VIP pass, it's exclusive to you.
But yeah, I think it's absolutely worth it.
Oh, you're not gonna get one next year.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna be like, give me this swag
you're
bag.
coming down to the bowels of like terribleness because you work for the Scene Snobs.
Yeah.
No perks. Well, there's perks, but they're just not good perks like the other ones. So, but I like that idea, and like I like that idea of a guide too.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I didn't do it. Dan got me years ago for Christmas, and I love it. And it's sitting there because I told him when he gave it to me, I'm going to do this one with my kids, and it's the Scratch Off horror movie.
Right.
So I got to wait till they're older though. There's a lot of movies on there. It's kind of like we scratch this one off. You're not watching it for another 10 years. So I'm going to hold on to it. But at least then I'm ensuring. So he gave it to me in like 2020, 2021. So all the movies that go up to 2021 that I'm going to make sure that I want them to see in the horror genre, I'm glad to hold on to this rather than buy a new one. Because you can always buy newer ones for movies that came out later. So I dig that. Also, I wanted to show this. Guys, if you don't know, we have another podcast on the channel called Warp Factor Fiction. And it's a Star Trek rewatch podcast. And this is one I wanted to show everybody that we did an unboxing for. So we have the video up over on our YouTube channel and on our podcast for War Factor Fiction. But this is a board cube advent calendar. It's got all sort of collector's items in here. Like you can get coasters. These are pretty cool. You get a mug. And then yeah, this is like the cheapest I've seen. I bought it more than this, so that was pretty cool. But $89 over on Amazon. This is a pretty cool find. And if you are interested in knowing and not doing the advent calendar side of it, and you want to know what's in it, like I said, we did the unboxing, so you can go check out the video or podcast, and you'll find out. So that's one thing. And in the same vein, another thing, if you're a Star Trek fan, that I wanted to point out last week, but I didn't get a chance to get to, is right here. If you're a fan of Picard, like the character, this is an awesome gift. This is the entire Picard legacy. It's all on Blu-ray. It's got tons of stuff. I think it's like 35 hours. I'll read it off to you so you can check it out. But this is a very cool gift. And like I said, it's the entire legacy. So if you're a fan, so it's got over 35 hours of features, premium package containing 54 Blu-ray discs and exclusive collectibles. All series and films featuring Captain Jean-Luc Picard from Next Generation seasons 1 through 7, Picard seasons 1 through 3, and the 4 Next Generation movies, Generations, First Contact, Nemesis, and Insurrection. Exclusive collectibles, a magnetic Captain Picard badge. Oh, cool. 4 custom Chateau Picard drink coasters. Very cool. I like that. Custom deck of playing cards, because of course they're big poker players in the show. An exclusive version of the Wisdom of Picard Legacy Collection Edition, featuring a new cover art and includes quotes from the latest seasons of Star Trek Picard. That is an awesome gift for Star Trek fans. And it's like $200. So I'm not getting it, but you should. That'd be a fun. And then I had one I wanted to share for the other geeks out there who love like D&D. I bought this for a friend of mine, which I can't say because he listens to the show, and I don't want them to know what I got them. And this comes from it's called Mystic Libations, a critical cocktails for the thirsty adventurer. It is an awesome cocktail mixology book that has all these different recipes that will entice all of you wonderful D&D lovers out there. So you should check it out. And the very cool part about this is the guy who runs this site and the guy who put out the book is, I have interviewed him. It's Todd Stashwick, another Star Trek alum and 12 Monkeys and 1,000 other things. He's a great actor. Go check out the interview. And we talked about a lot of stuff. So they're sold out here, but they are available if you go over on traderbrandon.com. Trader Brandon is also makes some other very cool stuff, has some shirts by him and stuff. So go check that out. And they also sell it on Amazon, so you can get a copy there. That's sort of where I'm at. I do have other stuff, but you know, I have to get to my reviews now. But I will say one last gift idea that you can do, and the affiliate link is down below, is StubHub. Next year, got a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of concerts and ball games and things like that you can get tickets for. I've never had a problem with StubHub. I love them. So go check them out. Affiliate links below, like I said. Tell them the Scene Snob sent you and go get your stuff. We got our Taylor Swift tickets off of there, and we had absolutely no issue when everybody else was. So you can go check that out as well. All right. Now, Paul, I am going to bid you adieu.
Sure.
Unless you want to hang out in the green room like you're supposed to, because you don't get the VIP bag like it and everyone else.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll head up in the back room.
I'm going to leave you in the green room. Thank you, Paul, for joining in. Appreciate you talking to you tonight. Anything you want to say before you get going?
I hope you guys are getting ready for Christmas and you guys stay safe with all your traveling. We'll talk to you again later this week and then next week. But if you're already traveling, I just hope you guys all have safe travels.
Yep. I wish you the best, Paul, and we hope those papers get signed and everything goes well. So, and get out. So, all right. I am very excited about this. So we are going to do our reviews today. That's right, everybody. We're the Scene Snob reviews Killers of the Flower Moon, the new movie by Martin Scorsese, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro, and many, many more. And then we have a Christmas future classic, maybe? Candy Cane Lane, starring Eddie Murphy in not a titular role. He lives on the street that is actually where it takes place, Candy Cane Lane. So let's start with Flowers of the Killer Moon, because I have a lot to say and I want to say it. Flowers of the Killer Moon is about the Osage Indian murders back in the early 20s, 30s. It started more towards the teens, like 1914, I believe, is really when it was sort of started kicking off. And the main character in this story, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, named Ernest, who is a real person, married one of the Native American Osage women, who had a long-standing wealth from oil that was discovered on their land. And what they would do is, and it was horrifying, the government would make these Native American people have guardians, like white guardians, to kind of come in and handle all their finances and stuff, would tell them what they can spend on and what they can't spend on. And they would actually have to, like, it was in this movie, they depicted it as they would actually have to secure permission. They would actually have to kind of beg for their own money, and they could still be denied. That's horrifying and ridiculous. Sorry, my dog's barking, but don't usually let it happen. But Killers of the Flower Moon, it was a 4-hour movie that just tells this horrifying tale, and it really made me want to go and do a deep dive into what was actually occurring and happening, and I did. And it is a crazy story. I do think that everybody should read it, just like the Tulsa murders and things like that. These are things that in history that we should be privy to, but this was a really important story to tell. Now, as for my movie review, I don't think it told it properly. I had a lot of problems with this movie in terms of story. I think the acting was very good. Leonardo DiCaprio, like I had said earlier, didn't really shine in this role for me, but he doesn't shine in similar roles like this. When he plays like these Slavic characters, he's great in them. He gets lost in them, but there's something about it where he doesn't shine. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street or the Catch Me If You Cans and things like that, where he really shines. Where, in my opinion, he's like up and at him, peppy, things like that. So that's just my feelings on his performance. Still not a bad performance. He did fantastically. And the story's good. It's based on a book, and more so than the actual history. So it's following the perspective of Ernest throughout the movie, and closely following his uncle, William Hale, who Robert De Niro played, who they were the ones that were, William Hale was this rich cattle baron who was making his nephews and others marry these women to control the wealth and kill them off and other members of the tribe and family to gain the access to that wealth. And it was horrifying. And they tell that, and it is disturbing what is shown in the fact that this is a true story. But where the movie for me just didn't get it right was that it shifted the perspective to the villains. Now I'm sitting here for 4 hours watching the villains' perspective and watching the horror unfold from their side of it. They're not justifying it, but I kind of wish it was either told from the perspective of the victims, so then that way we can get that idea and like how it affected them, and it was more personal. Because Lily Gladstone was doing a great job in this role as Molly, but I feel like she was reined back in. Like there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough of her. It should have been her story from her perspective. It's all of her sisters dying. It's all of, she goes through the most within the movie, within the character's movie. I'm not going to say in real life, but she goes through the worst of it, and her husband is at the heart of it. So there was a lot there that I think you could have done and empowered a female character like that, and it would have made for a better story than what we got. I don't care about the villains. I care about the villains when they're interesting and sympathetic. These aren't sympathetic villains. They're trying to be, especially Ernest's character and with Leonardo DiCaprio and how he played it, but they're not. And you don't care about them. And the things they're doing are vicious and cruel and disgusting. So it's not getting me to cheer for you when I'm seeing it from their perspective. With that being said, that's a personal preference. There's plenty of people who don't mind the perspective, so I can understand why they really liked it. I do kind of wish if they didn't go from the perspective of the victims, they maybe did a dual perspective like he did in The Departed. That could have been really cool too. I just wish there was a little more thought than just adaptation of the book. Because rather than just adapting it from the book and having Scorsese work with his team to actually tell a story that he could have made really well done and shorter. Let's be real, shorter. There's a lot of stuff in there that didn't have to be. Generally on the side of the villains. But it was jarring for me that it was like that. So I didn't love it. I would have preferred the perspective to be a little bit different. I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But my review of this, my rating for this movie is 4 out of 5. Good movie. Great movie. Good performance. Well shot. Everything about it was really well done. But the story just kind of suffered, and it takes away a microphone from me. But let's move on to our next movie, and that is Candy Cane Lane. 5 out of 5. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm not going to do that to kill it. The Flower Moon. Candy Cane Lane is a movie where Eddie Murphy, having just lost his job, he was always about the craftsmanship that goes into things like his Christmas decorations are all wood carved, and he puts a lot of work and time into it. And it's a whole lane where everybody tries to outdo each other with the lights. So that perspective was interesting. Then he loses his job and he realizes, oh, the winner of the light contest or the decoration contest wins $100,000. So he becomes obsessed to try and win that money to help cover a lot of things. And it turns out that in reality, everything is not always as it seems. He goes and he buys a very special decoration from an evil elf. Yes, I realize this is the story, but whatever. It's not that bad. It's all right. I'm not even gonna get into it anymore. It was a fun family film, Christmas film. Is it anything to write home about? Not really. I would put it more on the, next to some of these Christmas films where it's like you watch them, but they're really not the classics. But I do think this could be one that's good for the family every year. Just something to sit down. It's silly. It's funny. There's a lot of good things, a lot of good gags. I'm sad to see Eddie Murphy kind of step away from either revisiting roles. I know Beverly Hills Cop 4 is coming out, but that was pre-planned before the pandemic. But he was on a roll there with like Dolomite and a few others. And I felt like he was gearing up to be more into his stand-up And then after COVID, it kind of changed things. So we got this movie, not bad. I don't mind the Eddie Murphy family films because I don't think he does a bad job in them. I just don't think he's always the right role for him. In this one, I do. So I did enjoy it. A lot of it is because the whole family works together. It was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable Christmas film. That's the best way. I'm middle of the road, 3 mics out of 5. I've seen way worse. I've seen way better. But if you like Christmas films, it's worth checking out. All right, everybody, we're going to move on. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Or join up on our Discord like we talked about earlier. The Snob Nation Discord is free to join. Links down in the link tree below. We'd love to have you, and we'll talk about everything there. Channels for everything. So, all right. It is time for a mixed movie pick. 1974. Here we go. I went with a movie from 1974 that a lot of people probably won't give a chance, and they should. And that is Foxy Brown. Pam Grier is fantastic, and this is a great role. It's a great character. She is terrific in it. It is a great representation of exploitation of the 70s. It is a great representation of the times, but it also has a lot of heart, a lot of feel, and a lot of touching, cool, action-packed moments all over the place. I really do think that if you haven't seen this, you should check it out. You know, it's the same as like if you're watching a lot of the exploitation films of the time. They could get a little wacky. They could seem a little surreal sometimes, but they were always worth it, in my opinion. So, yeah, check that out. That is my mixed movie pick for this week. Thank you guys so much for joining in tonight. Thank you, Paul, producer Paul, for being here. We love him. Guys, like I said, my promise is to be way more absurd in the new year and to do a lot more crazy things. But you got to join up on the Discord, and you got to be a part of it because we are moving to building the community now. It's 5 years, and we want to do that, and we want to do that with you. So make sure you join up on the Discord. I told you everything else, who our sponsors was. Thank you, StubHub, for everything. We gave you all the geeky ideas. Hopefully you guys like them. If not, tell us some of the ones that you're going to be doing. We'd love to hear that too. Thank you guys for always being around, always being a part of it. I truly appreciate you. And I don't feel enough people, especially this time of year, hear that. I do. When I have falling outs with people, and I've had falling outs with people who watch the show, and it breaks my heart every time. I know it doesn't feel like it, but like this show for me has always been about the Outcasts. And that's why this episode is called The Outcasts. I've been feeling it. So I just want to say thank you all for being part of it. And remember to be kind. Remember to stay classy. And remember to take care of yourselves because that's important. Bye.